at faithmiddleton.com. That's our new home here on the Food Schmooze. Remember that, faithmiddleton.com. And we are going to talk about, the gang is here. I'll tell you who they are in just a second. We're going to talk about, I mean, let's face it, this is the holiday season. It is always, pretty wonderful in terms of what you can do. COVID was, granted, COVID was a problem, but here we are. Things seem pretty good. And we're going to talk about all the things that we love and that are perhaps your favorites as this string of holidays begins.
Yes.
Okay, so I am with Carl Franklin of Quaker Hill, Connecticut, Chris Prosperi, who is chef and co-owner of Metro Beast Restaurant in Simsbury, Connecticut, where he lives, and Joanne Church, who lives in New London, Connecticut. I live in Guilford. Okay, here we go, everybody. Let's get on it. As the holidays arrive, what are you thinking about?
Roast goose is my family tradition.
Oh, that's a very good idea.
Yeah,
With sticky pudding.
Oh, no, you know what? I do not. Carl's just said the pudding. My parents get a English pudding every single year, and I don't like it. But the goose I do love. But that English pudding I don't understand.
What about Yorkshire pudding?
Yeah.
I don't either.
I do like Yorkshire pudding.
Yeah.
But yeah, roast goose, and you don't see it very much anymore, you know? And, we've had a tradition since we were kids, and I'm trying to think that was the only time of year we had it once a year. And on Christmas, of course, and the sides always changed, but the goose was always there. And I just remember, I guess hearing stories of it being a tradition for people in the past, but growing up, I didn't see too many people doing it besides us.
How does one roast a goose?
It definitely takes a little knack because they are very fatty. So you have to cook them very slow and render that fat all out, almost like you cook a duck.
Exactly like a duck.
You like to poke holes in the skin?
Yep. Poke holes in the skin. Yep. Season it well, roast it low, let it cook, let all that fat render out. And then that fat was with us, I'm going to say, all the way to March. It was in a big pitcher in the fridge, and you would just go in there like when you were going to roast some potatoes. Yeah. You would just take a spoonful of that, put it in the cast iron pan, or even cook eggs. I mean, it was all, like I said, it lasted because it was a big pitcher of goose fat.
Yes, it's a lot of fat in there.
Oh. Yeah. And you know what? Thinking about it's not the most tender. It's not the most flavorful, but as tradition goes, I still love it.
There's nothing I love more than duck. And that is a flavorful bird. However, I love goose.
Yeah.
I remember the first time I cooked it, I was scared to death. But, what Chris said in that simple way, honestly, that's about how simple it is. Yeah. Poke some holes, just like duck. Boom, into the roaster, into a roasting pan it goes. Pour off the fat. And then when it warms up, when it cools down a little bit, you put that fat away and then eventually into the freezer, just like he said. I think it's absolutely delicious with those roast potatoes on the side.
And sometimes she would even put the potatoes in with the, in the same roasting pan with the goose. So it would just sit in there and the potatoes would get so crisp in that. And you know what? It browns like no other fat, right? Like the potatoes are like almost picturesque brown.
So, I have, when Thanksgiving was with us, what I really wanted was duck or goose. I thought, turkey is great and everything until I had a good bunny bring over his own Thanksgiving plates to my roommate Diane and I here in this rehab place where I am, because I broke my foot. Aww. And I've been here for quite a while, but and I'm in bed right now doing this show. And so the point was that Carl said, "Do you want a Thanksgiving plate, you and your roommate?" And I said, it was almost too much to hope for. I said, "Yes." And so he brings a basket, a big, beautiful basket filled with his homemade sugar-free ice cream. His stuffing, which I was flipped over. It was like the best stuffing I've ever had in my life. I don't know what's in there, Carl. And
Good stuff.
and then his cranberry sauce.
My mother's.
Tell her congratulations.
Love cranberry sauce.
We had everything, and it was so delicious. And we started backwards. We started with the ice cream.
Nice.
Yeah,
Why
it
not?
was great.
That's a holiday.
But I did what
Yeah.
I said I was going to do, which is to sous vide the duck breast.
Nice.
And that just
Oh.
made it so tender and just perfectly cooked all the way through. And then because you missed the skin, I actually created skin crackers.
Nice.
Yes. And I
Salt
had
and
those.
pepper.
They were right here on this table next to me, because I only eat a few at a time. Because
That's a
I
good
think,
snack.
You know, yeah,
Yeah.
I only inject them a few at a time. Okay, now
Faith's roommate was supposed to leave last week, but because of the good
Oh, she's
food,
like,
she's staying.
I'm not feeling what I'm not up to yet. I got to stay another
I can't
week.
walk on the.
Oh, love
God.
it.
Great.
Okay, all right, come on. Now let's do some other holiday foods. Now, when it's holiday desserts, there are certain
Yes.
people in our family who are sugar free. I'm not one of them,
Oh.
but
Ooh,
you know, one in particular, he looks so forward to that because it's a dessert he can have. And he wasn't here, so I couldn't have him try the stuff that you brought, Carl.
Mm.
However, my favorite thing, and my sister sometimes makes it for him sugar-free, is what that old-fashioned dessert called icebox cake. And we have
Oh.
it for all the holidays. And it's those
Yeah.
square chocolate cookies, and then you put whipped cream in between each one, and so
Yeah.
that it looks like a train,
Nice.
and the cream starts to melt into the chocolate cookies,
Mm.
and then you slice it in diagonal slices, and it's striped on the inside.
wow.
It
Mhm.
is so
Sounds
it's so
so
simple.
good.
It's so delicious.
How can you make that sugar free? I want that recipe.
Oh, she just does the whipped cream sugar free.
Oh, okay.
And you can get
So that-
sugar-free chocolate wafers.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Still plenty of carbs from the wheat in the cookie.
Oh, yeah.
Too.
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
But sugar.
Okay.
No
yeah,
sugar.
okay.
But better.
What
Yeah,
about
better.
somebody else? What about the Jewish holidays? Joanne, do you know what you're doing yet?
Sure. I started maybe.
Why don't you tell us?
No. So for holiday, with the colorful holidays, last year I made
Mhm.
meringue drops.
Oh,
And this is
Mm.
so I just want to say this year I ruined a lot of egg whites. And I think I realized what I did. And if you guys know this, so in the past I've never used my hand to separate the yolk from the white.
Yeah.
And this year I did, and
Yep.
I never got them to peak. Do you think? And I
Yep.
washed my hands.
Bingo.
Trust me.
nope.
Is that it?
Yep,
Are you
done.
kidding?
Yep. Oil. Yep. Oil.
Oh man! All right. So anyone out there, just don't use your hands.
Yeah, the enemy to peaks is oil, whether it's grease in the bowl, oil on your hand. Yeah, well, just the natural oils of your hands, right?
It's very finicky, but
Yep.
meringue drops are so beautiful. You can make them any color, and you don't have to use artificial color. Like I have freeze dried strawberries,
Oh, nice.
and they're
Wow.
just melt in your mouth. They're so
Mhm.
lovely. And I tried something new this year and I wrecked it. But that's not another. I just want to say this is the holiday for cocktail making contests. And how you do this, and just hear me out. Each guest will submit an ingredient of 3 to 4. Now, when I say each guest, if you're going to have 10 people, maybe just pick 4 people to
Right.
so
Yeah,
you make
yeah.
a cocktail for. So they give you the ingredients ahead of time, and you have all the ingredients ready, or you have your guests bring the ingredients, and then you buy small servings, or they have small martini glasses, like at the dollar store.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So, and then you vote and who wins. But here's the very best idea. It's called a Very Merry Ornamentini.
Ornamentini?
So wait, you have to. This
Say
is
that
a thing.
3 times.
Yeah, I know. Like I'm not even. So you do a martini with red cranberry juice or cherry juice or something, a real pop of color, and you make your martini in the shaker. And then using a funnel, you pour it into like a 3-inch clear ornament. We've all seen the round ornaments with the top.
Oh,
You
sure.
put your cocktail in the ornament.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Then
That's holiday.
wait till you hear. So you put you get a regular martini glass. You take
Yeah.
cranberries and you roll it in the big sugar.
Yep.
And you put the cranberries in the martini glass, set the ornament on the cranberries, and then when people are ready to drink it, they pour it from the ornament.
Ah.
Oh my God, it's the
Wow.
winner, and everyone's talking about it, and
That
you're
is
winning.
so
No matter, even if it
cool.
doesn't taste good, you're winning.
And
Wow.
there's no
Yeah.
poison in the ornament on the inside of the
And you
ornament.
rinse it out, you clean it out. And also, I wanted to say
It's alcohol. It
it's
cleans
cocktails. Yeah, it's cocktails or mocktails. I wanted to make that
Mhm.
Oh,
clear as
okay.
well. But yeah, you rinse it out, but
Yep.
or
Yeah, they're glass.
Yeah. Okay. All right. All right. Well, this, a lot of them have like a coating in there, like it's gold or silver. And I thought,
Mm.
oh, is that? But clearly
Yeah,
it
rinse
is.
it out,
Okay. Okay. So we're going to take a really quick break, as we always do. We're at faithmiddleton.com. That's our new home address. Because I'm in the hospital with a broken foot, Bon Bon is not with me, though he came last night.
Oh.
One of my good friends, Mary Caesar, who has done work on this show, she
Yeah.
brought him when his nose ever went through the door here in my room. I couldn't even, I almost cried. I couldn't believe it because I miss him so much. And he was just running around and,
That's so cool.
trying to figure out what to do and sort of barking and whining. And oh, it's wonderful. And then when we come back from this quick break here on the Food Schmooze, I got to tell Chris a story. And it's quite a good little story, Chris.
Cool.
Okay, we're doing all holiday foods because we're in the holiday season, and we'll be right back. We're at faithmiddleton.com. That's the new home of the Food Schmooze, our independent podcast. And you can get it wherever you get your podcasts. And that's the neat thing about it. Okay, so Chris, I promised Chris, as we go on talking about our holiday foods, that I was going to tell a little story, and I am. And so I'm in a rehab facility. And I have a roommate, and we watch murder mysteries together. We have
murder mysteries.
Diane is my roommate, and we watch these fabulous murder mysteries together, and I love them. The real ones, where the person's really getting arrested or really stole the
like
thing,
prime time,
or really
48
killed the
hours.
guy.
Yeah, love
so
those.
I never have watched them before, and I'm totally hooked on them. Okay, so anyway, so one of the physical therapists comes in. And we're talking about food, and she likes food, and we're talking away, and we haven't started our exercises yet. Since we're on food, she said, my sister lives next door to this chef, and he brings
Pastries.
incredible.
I know the story.
Okay, you little devil. He brings incredible things over, and she said, my sister's job is to try to make something as nice as he makes when he brings his dish over. So she's going on and on about the story and the things he brings, and I'm saying what she could do, and I'm going on and on about it. And all of a sudden, it dawns on me that what she has said is the chef lives in Goshen.
Goshen, yep.
And I said, I stop in the middle of the story I'm telling, and I say, wait a minute, Goshen? And she says, yes, their next door neighbor. And I said, do you have any pictures of the food that he's brought over? And she says, matter of fact, I do. Well, the door comes this most gorgeous Bûche de Noël. I just almost fainted when I saw it. I said,
what is that?
My God. Tell me. Oh, okay. So, Chris, it's a dessert that it goes up to a peak. It looks like a Christmas tree, and it's brown balls. So there's one ball at the top, then two balls underneath, then 3 balls, 4 balls, blah, blah, blah. Right, Chris? And
it's like a tree of profiteroles?
Yes, it's like a tree of profiteroles.
Like a profiterole.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Wow, cool.
Spun sugar.
Then there was also a Yule log. You know those logs that look like a piece of wood with mushrooms on them that he had also done. And it was so magnificent. And I said, oh my God, wait a minute. Did you say Goshen? There's only one person in Goshen that I know who could make desserts like this. And it's Chris Prosperi's father.
Wow.
The Frenchman.
Yep.
And I said, is the last name Prosperi? Because she couldn't remember. And she said, wait a minute. And then she said, yes. I asked my sister, that's the name. And I said, well, guess who's on the food sprues with us from the very beginning? And she said, you are kidding.
Yeah.
Anyway, it was so great.
Oh, I totally forgot. I had my
I
parents' 60th anniversary was this past Sunday, so we had dinner, and my dad told that story.
Wow.
He did?
Yeah, he's like, is Faith okay? And I'm like, yeah, why? Are you sure? And I'm like, yeah, she's okay. Why? Well, I don't know. I heard she might be in a rehab place, physical rehab place. I'm like, oh yeah, that's true. But she broke her ankle and she's working through it. But mentally and all that other stuff, she's fine. But she has to get through this. And then he told me the story that the next door neighbor's sister is working there. I mean, what a small world.
I said
That's
wild.
amazing.
I mean, it's wild. Okay. Now, you're probably saying to yourselves as you're listening from wherever you're listening or wherever you get your podcast, you're probably saying to yourself, yeah, okay, get back to the desserts for the holidays. Okay. So that's what we're going to do. Okay, now let me see. So, Carl Franklin, what are you thinking about one of your holiday dishes for the stream of holidays that are coming up?
I will tell you my favorite side dish / casserole that I make for the holidays. It's a spinach and artichoke casserole.
Oh.
So if you think about what's good about spinach and artichoke dip, except that it's in a casserole form. It's got some extra ingredients. So basically, I went to Big Y and I got a bag of pre-cut cauliflower and broccoli, and just a little bag. And I chopped those up with, a small thing of mushrooms. So you've got cauliflower, broccoli, and mushrooms in the oven in olive oil, baking at 400 degrees, 30 minutes.
Oh.
So that while that's going, I'm going to saute a bag of fresh spinach with olive oil and garlic. And when that's done, I squeeze out the water because there's a lot of water in there.
Spinach, yeah.
Set that aside. And then I'm going to warm up 8 ounces of cream cheese in the microwave about a minute, just so that it, gets all swirly. I'm going to drain and chop a can of artichoke hearts, put all those ingredients in a bowl, including the roasted cauliflower, broccoli, and mushrooms.
Are the artichokes in a brine?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so then I'm going to add a cup of shredded Asiago, a tablespoon of Worcestershire or Worcester sauce, and some chopped black olives, pimentos. You can go nuts here, right?
God.
Anything else that you like that adds flavor. Then I'm going to combine that and season it to taste with salt and white pepper. I love white pepper. And place that in a baking dish, cover with shredded jack cheese. Put that in the oven until golden brown and delicious. And let me tell you, that is amazing. Amazing. I mean, if you want to put a protein in there, like shredded chicken or something, you could do that.
But Carl, is it a dip?
No, it's not.
Do you dip things in it or no?
No. I specifically took out all the water and the watery stuff to make it sort of a solid casserole.
Oh, so I see. It kind of bakes.
Yeah.
Nice.
You serve it in a ramekin.
That sounds really good. Wow.
Delicious.
Okay.
In fact, I'm having it for dinner.
Nice.
Okay. That's why I thought of it.
Yeah.
Chris, do you have another one?
Yeah, let's go back to what you were talking about and the bush, and not the bush to Noah, but the Yule log. The chocolate Yule log.
That was your father's.
Yes, but I look forward to that every year because my dad does one every single year. And it really is.
Wow.
It's hard to decorate, but it's simple to make. It really is just a sponge cake that he bakes in a sheet pan, right? Like a little cookie sheet. And when it comes out of the oven, all you do is let it cool just a little bit, and then you flip it onto a clean kitchen towel, right? And while it's still hot, you roll it. Then that's how you get that shape. You let it sit there and let it cool a little bit more while you prep your frosting, which he usually uses French buttercream. You open it back up, but it's important to roll it first while it's still warm, so it has that shape.
Doesn't crack.
So it doesn't crack. So you let it cool a little bit more while you get your buttercream ready and all your decorations, and then you open it back up. You put a nice layer of buttercream, and then you roll it back up. And then this is where it gets really tricky. And I watch him do it, a couple times, and I'm just amazed how fast he does it, because this would take me days. He can make that thing look like an exact log with the knots in it and everything. And sometimes even branches coming out of it. And he makes the meringue mushrooms, and does them with cocoa powder so they have little brown on top. Sometimes he'll even put little dots on top of them with like a raspberry jam. And then and the way he decorates it, he'll even do the wood grain at the end so it looks like it was cut with a saw.
Wow. Chris, can I jump in on you to describe? When I saw this picture, I was speechless because I was staring at it. She said, I have a picture of what the man next door brought over for dessert. And I was like, oh my God. It was so realistic looking. Every part of it, the wood on the outside,
that's what he's saying,
was
the
so
bark.
like real bark. I mean, and the mushrooms were the perfect color. I just thought, who is doing this? And then when I figured it out, I thought, I know who's doing this.
But you're talking, my dad's in his upper 80s now. So you're talking 60 plus years of experience making these. Because when he was a pastry chef in Paris, of course, at the holidays, that's one of the things you make. And every place he went ever since at the holidays, he always made the Yule logs. They're so good, and they taste so good.
Sounds yummy.
It's just like I said, it's like a chocolate. It's just like a chocolate cake, but because it has a cool shape, maybe it tastes better to me.
Well, I just want to say that again. I've never had one.
All right. We can arrange a delivery after the holidays. Yep.
And I'm in the hospital. It's all very sad.
All right. You know what? You're going to get one now because Dad listens to the show. So you're definitely going to get one. You might even get a whole one. Tell the roommate she's got to stay a couple more weeks.
Mr. Prosperi, thank you. Thank you.
Very good.
I'll give to whatever charity you say. I promise. Okay. I was thinking about Julia Child the other day because there's another movie out about her. And the woman actually looks quite a lot like her. And I was looking at the screen and I was thinking about Julia. And I said to myself, remember, because sometimes I would go over to her house in Cambridge. She lived in this big, beautiful, old Victorian house in Cambridge. And her hors d'oeuvre with drinks was goldfish. Those goldfish crackers?
Yeah.
And she would just throw them in a bowl. She did nothing fancy. Threw them in a bowl, put the bowls down, a couple of bowls on a couple of counters, handed you your drinks, and you were to just grab some goldfish and eat them. And she didn't have to worry about that. And I love that she did that.
Brilliant.
Yep. Unpretentious.
Yeah. Is there something at the holidays that you could do that is an equivalent of that? That's not fancy, it's simple.
Well, I always put out mushroom brie from Fromage and some rosemary crackers.
Yeah.
Those are some of the things that I brought you, Faith.
I was just going to say, let me tell you, that mushroom brie from Fromage in Old Saybrook, Carl and I had gone there on a trip one day anyway. And I don't know, he brought me a big, big piece of it. And my roommate Diane and I here at the rehab, we all, we ate a lot of it.
Paused it off.
We ate a lot of it.
Hey, Faith, you got to be careful what you're doing there. They're never going to let you. Oh, no, I'm sorry, Faith. You can't leave yet. You need another week. No, another week again. Sorry. Yeah. You're getting so much better, but you've got to stay another week.
That's kind of how it's
bring some of that mushroom brie.
That's kind of how it's going, I have to say.
You got to be careful. You'll be there for years.
I know.
But that's a simple, appetizer that my kids love, walking right in the door and having the mushroom brie and rosemary crackers every year.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Yeah, it's kind of a tradition in my house.
Huh. Okay, so does anybody make anything else special on the holidays? Punches, around for people who celebrate Christmas, there's this whole, punch thing that people do. I don't know if anybody does that. Joanne, I know eggnog. You do cocktails. Oh, what's that? The Spanish coquito. The Spanish eggnog we had a contest when I used to be on a public radio show. The Spanish folks in New Haven said, can we have our coquito contest on your show? And so we said, okay, and I can take it or leave it with eggnog. This is not like any eggnog you've ever had. It was stunning, delicious. I mean, it was absolutely not too thick, but sour frosty, and yet had that slight eggnog flavor and tons of rum. It was fabulous, fabulous, fabulous. So anybody who hears coquito, don't pass this up. It's unbelievably good. Especially when people, this was a contest. So, the grandmothers and the mothers all brought out their coquito recipes. Really, really good.
I sometimes make low-carb meatballs for the holidays. Just, little ones on toothpicks. And instead of using breadcrumbs, I use pork panko, which is pork rinds that are ground up.
Oh.
And some olive oil makes them really tender.
Really? That sounds good.
Yeah, you just make your regular meatball mix, but instead of breadcrumbs, you use, crushed pork rinds.
Oh, how bad.
Oh, yeah.
Oh. Okay, so Carl brought this plastic bag and said, try this, when he walked in the door. And it was these squares, and they were squares of the turkey skin. And you could, since you're having turkey any old time, you want, or you should, and you can do all kinds of things with turkey. These squares are all fried, like crispy fried in this bag. And, so I take one out and I ate it, and it's the skin fried up. He takes the skin off the turkey, right, Carl? You should describe it.
Yeah, and they're actually not fried. It's baked. And how I took the entire, as much skin as I could off the entire turkey. Not the legs and stuff, because just cut around the legs. I put it on a parchment baking sheet with parchment paper, salt and pepper, put another layer of parchment, another cookie sheet on top of that. And I put like 2 big cast iron pans on it to press it down. And that went in the oven for 30, 40 minutes. And when it comes out, it's just like,
candy.
And I let it cool and cut it up into squares, and those are the skin crackers.
Oh, they're unbelievable. People, I beg you, try this.
Put some cheese whiz on
Try
them.
this.
That's a good idea.
That's what I would do. Put a little cheese on them, right?
Yeah.
Cheese and crackers.
You can do it with chicken skins too. And there's a place in Westerly where I can order chicken skins. It's called Westerly Meat Packing.
Oh, yeah.
You have to go pick them up, but they're frozen and they come in, big bags. And you can just make them.
And what do you do? What do you do with them? Same way? Cook them same way?
Same thing. Oh, I put cheese on them. I use them like crackers. Yeah.
So
wow.
Cool. Such a cool idea.
Now,
Carl.
since everybody's getting credit for all kinds of things, the Yule log, my dog, I think I should do Joanne's. Joanne and her spouse went to the Thanksgiving Day parade in New York.
Yeah.
Yes. Fabulous.
Was it just great?
It was so fun. Everyone was so happy, and millions of people just so excited to see these floats and hear these marching bands.
Oh, that's so nice.
Yeah, it was It was nice. And it was like 36 degrees, so it wasn't bad.
Oh,
it wasn't
nice.
18.
Yeah.
So it was beautiful.
That's
It was
great.
beautiful
I watched
to be
it.
in the city.
Did you watch it, Carl?
I watched it. I was looking for
me
you,
too.
but I
Me
couldn't
too,
see
Carl.
you.
Every time the screen went by any kind of grandstand.
We were like 75 feet from the main stage, so we could see it all, but we weren't being recorded.
Oh,
Yeah.
well.
So we had a question about the parade. Kelly did. Does the parade go on after it passes the grandstand, or is that it? Is it just for
They start
being-
deflating after there. Everyone has their special places they go to
Yep.
deflate
Side streets. Yep.
and take off their uniforms. I mean, I
Yeah.
guess it's uniform.
But
all
what
the-
about before the grandstand? How long is the parade before it gets to where it's on video?
It started at 8:30 and it got to the grandstand at 9:15.
Okay.
Yeah, I think
Oh.
almost down
But there
by
was a
Central
little
Park,
hold up,
right?
unfortunately. But
Yeah, it goes all the way down Fifth Avenue, right? Or Broadway?
Wow.
What's it?
And there's people lining the street all the way down.
we left about 5:45 and the streets were packed. And when we got in line, it was like we were blocks down the road. So yeah,
Wow.
people show up really
And is the
early.
grandstand like bleachers? Do you just walk up row by row by row?
It is bleachers, but I was reprimanded several times by calling that prior to the event. So they are not called bleachers at the Macy's Day
Fancy
Parade. They are
bleachers.
grandstand.
Okay.
Oh. Yeah, I think if you go like I've watched it from other parts in the city, you don't see as much performing because they really do stop there.
Right in front of the
And-
NBC, right?
Yes, and they really do just start right. They'll do
Yeah.
song, and the rest of the way there's marching bands and there's music, but you don't get the big
Yeah.
performances.
It's really amazing. I remember as a kid watching it at my grandmother's house in Pennsylvania, and how for that day, New York City is the center of the universe.
Yeah.
It's just amazing.
Agreed.
No matter where you are,
That's right.
you can turn that on and you're in New York
And
City.
people are so happy and just cheering. You know, it's just a beautiful, beautiful vibe
Oh,
to be there.
well,
What was your favorite float?
Well, I love Snoopy,
yeah, me too.
but SpongeBob was really big too, and he was close. But there was a lot of great ones. Bluey, who I didn't know who it was, and the kids lost their minds when Bluey came through. So
Is Bluey a cartoon character or
yes, and that's all I know. Please don't ask me.
what is Bluey's IQ?
I know.
Oh boy. Okay. Well, as always, this was really just a blast to me. I'm going to be working on what to make as we go forward. Except icebox cake is a given. Plus all the things that you folks mentioned. I wanted every single one, as usual, as I always do. Okay. All right. We'll see you next time, and we'll be here with who knows what. We'd love to surprise you and each other sometimes.
Yeah.
And okay, we'll see you soon.
Bye-bye.
Ciao.
Bye.
Waiting for the summer to come.